Welcome to the last session for today. Today we have a panel. We have Danka Jokic from NLB Bank, Matija Ratkovic from Lancer as a co-founder, and Hans Kleinsman from Cognotech. I would briefly just like to ask you, you also introduce yourselves and the company and which sections you're doing. What are your typical clients? What is the team? Where is the team located? And how large are your teams dedicated to AI development? So we can start with short introductions, I guess. Ladies first.
Thank you. Do you hear me well? Okay, I'm Danka Jokic from NLB Digit. We belong to NLB Group. So we are fintech within the NLB Group of companies. We are about 120 now and growing. Out of that, we have 25 people in data team, and out of that, 9 data scientists. The other colleagues are data engineers, data analysts. So we are a fast-growing company. We were established 2 years ago, and we are serving the whole NLB group. So we serve banks, leasing companies, and all the members of the group. So our projects are diverse, and we'll speak about that later.
Yes, yeah, we'll cover other topics, I'll also say so.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for turning up in such great numbers. Hans Kleinsman, Cogna.tech, my team over here. So we've got 6 out of 10 we are now. We've been going for about a year. We do data and tax, basically getting data ready for whichever tax purpose that you require it for. I'd say we're 20, maybe going towards 30% on the AI scale, but generally we just use the most appropriate technology with respect to the task at hand. We service large multinationals, so 750 million and up. Yeah, that's our area. And again, also thank you for the team for turning up here as well in such numbers.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining this session. My name is Matija Ratkovic and I'm a CMO and the co-founder of Lancer Payments, probably the smallest startup in the payments and contract management world. Our primary clients are remote workers and the companies that hire them, and freelancers of course. Well, my background is actually I'm an engineer who converted to sales and marketing.
Thanks. So just to summarize, bank, tax, regulations, payments. We'll cover a couple of topics: AI transforming financial processes, AI and client communication, future of work, and regulatory landscape. So I'll start with a question which is open to all. I guess also, Danka, I'll ask you first. How is AI currently being used to automate and streamline processes in areas of finance, whether it be loan approvals, fraud detection, risk management, KYC, AML, and maybe a little bit more specific, if you can give us an example if NLB Bank is leveraging AI to deal with one of these processes, and how does it improve particular processes?
Okay, thank you for this question. And before that, just to correct myself, also big regards to my colleagues who show up here in very great number. Thank you very much. We are dealing with all these topics, as you mentioned. I will mention some of our greatest projects that our team of nine data scientists is working on during the last period. So in the NLP area, we worked on different contact center projects, sentiment detection, topic detection, meaning topic of the conversation detection. When customer sends some email, then we are able to detect what was the topic of that email. Also, some of my colleagues developed a time series model for detecting predicting number of calls in the future, so that call center management can plan engagement of agents. Also, we developed a lot of propensity models, propensity detection models. And of course, we develop also some risk models, macroeconomic models. In the area of NLP, we also developed chatbot and recommender systems for chatbot-like recommender systems for the products. So very diverse projects, and we are also growing a new department for specifically dedicated to AI products, LLMs, and this new technology.
Second part, just do you have any challenges or benefits in the process?
Yeah, of course, we have a lot of challenges. I think in this conference, many of those challenges are already tackled. These are, let's say, mainly challenges between demo systems, POC systems, and production systems. Because whatever we heard here, people are talking about demo systems. And then when you come to production, it's a completely different story. Because AI, it's not just isolated island in some company. It's part of IT ecosystem and must be integrated to other systems. That's when it comes to production systems, the challenges are standard IT system challenges.
Right.
And of course, accuracy is a big challenge because AI systems, they are not deterministic systems. So if you use LLM, you are not sure if each time you will get the correct answer. So you must count on that.
Matija, question for you. Can you, how can actually AI solutions like Stripe, LLM, address, KYC, challenges faced with the startups specifically?
Well, as I'm coming from a very small startup with 3 regular members, like third-party solutions for AML and KYC are playing a pivotal role, basically, because it helps us, especially when it comes to like AI solutions. From that domain, it helps us, to streamline the process, to make it faster, and to basically ensure compliance. When it comes to Stripe LLM, it's a new thing, and it's basically like a chat GPT for payments. So the idea there is that it's gonna be like you're gonna have like option to do like a prompt, like in a chat GPT, and basically like, hey, pay these freelancers their weekly salary. So in a way, like that kind of solutions are definitely going to change the financial landscape and the roles when it comes to like accounting and that kind of departments. Well, in companies, in startups, and basically everywhere. And the third part that I'd like to mention is, as we are, our solution is integrating also crypto payments. So crypto to fiat and fiat to crypto, we have to be like very, very careful. And in that domain, like as I mentioned previously, like KYC solutions that help identify customer and make sure that there's no like any money laundering being done. Especially like crypto space might be like a bit tricky in that domain. Although I don't personally think that crypto space is that tricky. That kind of stuff happen everywhere. But yeah, there are many other applications that we will yet to see.
Thanks, Matija. So before I move on to the next topic, Hans, would you like to add to these questions, or I can move on to AI and client communication?
As you wish. I'm very flexible. Just as a very quick one, I mean, we're very keen on trying out new stuff with AI, but and to people who haven't seen Vidak's presentation, it'll be on the web obviously, and we'll all have access. So Vidak's my co-founder. So the thing is, what we try to be doing is just be very practical and find operational needs and meet those. We have a lot of progressing insights. We're hiring specifically people who are proficient at these types of things, like Luca. We've just hired a couple of more people, so who are good at this, at AI and getting that onboarded. But for us, and the most important thing is just to meet the moment for our clients, and that can be any technology at this point. They're very interested in AI, so are we. And we're just moving with the wave and hoping to be able to capitalize on that when the moment comes. And we're ready to pounce.
Yeah. Perfect. So In AI and client communication, how can AI be used to enhance communication with clients and the overall experience? We talked a little bit about being proactive as a support, personalized recommendations, chatbots, and assistance. So questions for you, Hans. Given your experience in the tax and finance industry for the past 20-odd years or so, plus?
Right. It's people business, right? So for us, it's making sure that you have touch points with people, and what we do is also we build tools for people, which means that we have a lot of interaction with whomever within a given company we're working with. Make sure that everybody gets FaceTime with those clients. Make sure that we build what they need, that they're comfortable with all of those various with all the various tools that we build them, that they understand the technologies that they're engaging with. Upskilling as relevant. And that's basically what we do. So we don't use and we don't need a particular additional outreach, and we don't need to go crazy with chatbots and all those various things. What we do is large language models in which accountants, auditors, stakeholders can quiz our models, and those are pretty all-encompassing, and people are really wowed as to what that is capable of doing. But we never forget the human measure, in the sense that there is a person who will end-to-end be able to also explain the process. And in my world, the world of tax and finance, you know, the big issues, where are the risks? It's audit controversy, and all of those various things. So auditability, being able to explain what it is that you do, that the system is able to explain to an auditor or to a tax inspector what it is done, and then having a human being able to collaborate whatever the system has said. And that's what we're at this moment. And yeah, I'm sure we'll see that progress. We're seeing a lot of e-discovery, e-audits, and all of those various things. And also, we're seeing the tax authorities getting a lot more wise as to the application of AI, large language models, ChatGPT, data mining, all of those various things. And we're seeing that, you know, with what we are doing, that we can assist our clients in being prepared and being more compliant towards whatever the goal is that is, or the bar that is set for them, either by the financial system, so be it the markets, compliance with respect to your listings, your corporate entities in the local countries, tax authorities, all of those various things. So that's what we stand at the moment.
Yeah. Let me ask you, or just follow up a little bit more on the question, if you can go deeper. So, in what unique ethical challenges do you foresee emerging AI becomes more integrated into financial services? So, especially in areas like compliance and financial services.
Well, transparency is key, and that is the thing. So anything that you do at this point in time and needs to be utterly transparent and compliant with anything that's out there, whether it's the AI legislation from the European Union, local legislation, fiduciary duty of directors, all the various reporting requirements, just the tally up of transactions towards a balance sheet item in your corporate books. Everything needs to be spot on, and there's got to be nowhere to hide. And obviously, you know, I've been in the industry for 25 years. There was a lot of hiding. There's reasons why we have, yes, so people are laughing, but so there was a lot of, so when you think about global minimum tax, things that are going on at the moment, there's reasons for that, because we were playing a lot of hide and seek with numbers, with journal entries, with shifting of activities, and you name it, and that's gone. So and it's a good thing, right? So I'm very happy I left that life behind, and I'm very happy to bring the transparency to our clients, and I'm very happy that the clients also believe in this and are willing to go on this journey and get their house in order.
Great. Danka, I'll move on to you, still stick to the AI and client communication question. So you mentioned already a little bit about use cases, but I want to see how is NLB Bank integrating AI into the communication channels to better serve their clients?
Okay.
Are there any specific use cases that you can share with us?
I think I already mentioned some use case. This is about sentiment and topic model. So our agents in contact center They can filter messages based on sentiment and topic. That means if, for example, a customer is complaining that that messages are getting high priority, so the agent will, let's say, answer to that messages first. And there is also legal obligation to answer these messages as soon as possible. The other thing is about voice communication, which is also changing. Customer, I also heard here in conference, I was not aware about that, but they say that people don't like chatbots, but people like voice bots, or at least they will like, because this is tendency to replace agents in call center with voice bots. This is something that is going to come in the future. Another thing that is also present at the moment is, as I mentioned, propensity to buy models. So, for example, if customers comes to the branch or in e-banking, mobile banking, whatever channel, digital channel, customer gets some, let's say, messages to some products that are either pre-approved or system thinks that they have tendency to buy these products. So they get personalized offers. That means that we are going in the direction of personalized banking. So all the offers will be personalized towards you. So I think that this is very good, because finally banking is going to be customer-centric. Before that, we were talking about customer-centric banking, but now we are going into that direction, because basically there are a lot of companies, and, so customers become very important.
The centric part.
Yeah.
Of your business. Okay. Yesterday we talked a little bit about, today we just talked about a little bit about the future of work. So how is AI impacting the future of work in the financial sector, particularly that now you have a lot of increasing adoption of remote work? What are the remote work models? I assume NLB, you all guys are in the office. Maybe question for Matija, if you want to discuss a bit, and then Hans. Okay. Again, question to all. We can start with Matija and then move it this way.
Sounds good. So when it comes to remote work, that's my preferred way of work, and our team is basically, we have team members from 3 continents, and we work almost perfectly. So in that way, like, AI is helping in many ways. So first of all, it's when it comes to repetitive tasks and like things that might not be like directly related to like payments and contract management, but more from a client-facing perspective, developing new features, and what they mentioned already when it comes to like communication with clients, chatbots, those kind of stuff. And maybe the most important part for me is when it comes to like sales and marketing, AI helps me a lot to basically scale work of like 10 people to do with like maybe like few freelancers or even alone. So in that way, AI is definitely like changing the perspective where remote work is gonna be. It's already like a new normal, even though they say that back to office is becoming a standard. But remote work proved its concept in many areas. And when it comes to like startups, like tech startups, software startups, we are getting to a position where we can start companies. We can do like one-man shows, basically, where we previously needed like 20 people or more. So in that way, like, AI is definitely helping. Like we are gonna see way more and more fintech solutions like ours that are gonna be niche specific, that are gonna do some kind of that are going to be also implemented in a vertical integration. Like we will have definitely like startups that are going to build their own financial systems. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Matija. And he's a one-man marketing team, right, with ChatGPT. It's amazing. So in our particular case, our team is spread out a little bit. So we have people in Denmark, we have people in Portugal, Hungary, Switzerland, Montenegro. So where we also have a physical office, we have arrangements with Regis Spaces, with which we are really happy. So we've got a kind of an anchor home where anybody can just turn up, use the wireless system, everything goes up in a heartbeat, is able to use all the various tech and tools that we have. We all carry 1 or 2 computers at least, and then a phone, and God knows what. We have our daily touch points. Yeah, everything is basically digital at the moment. Obviously, you know, we're still very excited to all come to the office. So even though for us it's a bit of a trek to go to Podgorica, we're still happy to go down there. I know that the team over there really likes to co-locate, and when we get the opportunity, we do. But having said, you know, digital does make a huge difference because we can tap into different talent pools in different countries. And we also have a whole host of strategic alliances with a variety of companies and individuals. And again, you know, digital facilitates all of those various things to an amazing degree. And that is a real enabler for us. So we wouldn't have been able to do that, I don't know, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, would even be difficult. Not at the scale that we're doing it, or with the intensity, or with the amount of data that we handle. Because for us, 150 million lines, I mean, you know, that's quite normal to go and do processing and having to co-develop things online together. So.
Before also moving to Danka, I just wanted to ask you, Hans, you mentioned about the challenges and opportunities associated with remote work, and especially in the client-facing industry, right? How do you deal with that?
We fly. It is what it is. So I've been taking 100 flights for the past 20 years. Well, except for the COVID times when we were slightly down.
Right.
But there's still a lot of FaceTime. But having said, we also do a lot of virtual meetings. And also because we deliver iteratively. So every week we have delivery to the client, which means we deliver to clients' project managers, IT teams, etc., and the tax and controller technical teams. Obviously, a lot of that is virtual because they're all over the shop. When we do workshops, we have workshops in person, on-prem. Make sure that we have the personal relationships, and then we leverage off of that in the virtual space.
Thank you. Danka, anything different for LNB point of view, which is traditional?
It is different in the sense that we work remotely, which is not so common in this industry. So we are allowed to work 3 to 4 days per week remotely. And it's working okay. The same principles are applied as Hans mentioned, just checkpoints and of course in meetings in person for workshops and important meetings during the project. You mentioned some challenges.
Challenges, if you can, and opportunities associated with it.
Basically, yeah, it's important also to take care about IT security and cybersecurity stuff. So, because, you know, our data are very important and they are confident, so even if we access from our home, then it must be protected the same way as we are in the office. That's it.
I would actually kind of summarize, you know, all of you guys are in different branches of finances, but all of you are actually in the business of trust, right? So if your clients don't trust you, they won't put money on you or deal with the business. So this is kind of a good lean into our next topic, which is AI and regulatory landscape, right? Very important in financial sector. So again, question for all. How is the regulatory landscape adapting to the advances of AI within the financial sector? What are some of the key considerations of the bank and the fintech companies? So we can start with Danka, and then this way we can move to Matija.
Okay. Basically, as Hans mentioned, this year, I think in August, AI Act was published, and all the AI companies are obliged to comply with that in the time period from 6 to 36 months, depends on the parts of chapters of this AI Act. So because we are part of NLB Group, which is a EU company, we are also obliged to let's say, comply with this AI Act. So far, there are no local regulations, but certainly they will come because this is basically the first legal act in Europe. This is a little bit different from other parts, other countries in the world. It's a little bit stricter. So still companies are investigating how they are going to adopt their systems to this act. But the good thing is that the AI Act actually is human-centric. It protects us from AI, let's say, risks. So if some system is very high risk, it must be, some measures must be taken to, let's say, adopt it to be used. So this is something that is coming, and we all must be aware of that.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, AI and regulatory, I mean, it's going to be a common denominator, lowest common denominator game, I think. So again, we serve large multinationals, so our problem is generally, if you have a company, the typical company we serve has activities in all 26 European member states and also across the Balkans, right to Turkey, etc. They don't want to do things differently in different countries because they want to have a level playing field. A lot of their accounting is already, so the ledgers, etc., are very similar. So anything that they're going to be introducing on that scale and also imposing onto their advisors, being us. So I need to make representations and warranties. We need to come up with policies and procedures that we adhere to, that we sign off on. So I hereby certify, etc., sign my name on the dotted line with all kinds of horrible penalty clauses and potential trust issues. So I think what we'll see is that we'll get a lowest common denominator. They'll pinpoint to the most stringent regulatory regime, and that's what we're going to be held to. And the question is going to be, I learned this is a Croatian thing apparently. Where is the stamp? This is apparently very important locally.
The Petrat.
Okay, excellent. So anyway, so yeah, the thing is, where is the stamp? So anyway, and that is, and for us, with a whole load of the compliance things, it's we may be small, but we're held to very high standards, and every time it's where is the stamp, and we will be held to account, albeit by the legal teams or by project management or by procurement, or somebody will find us out and say, where is it? So anyway, so that's where I can see this going.
So bridging to or point to your previous point, how do you then bridge the gap between the cutting edge AI solutions and the evolving regulatory frameworks that also Danka mentioned?
I just get it done. I mean, it's a compliance exercise. It is exactly what we're doing in tax. At the end of the day, it's a compliance exercise. So you put your policies and procedures in place and you get the job done. And also instruct your people, make them understand why they're doing it and what they need to be doing and by when. And then it's a question of enforcement. But also explaining why it is. And that's one of the things, we've got a lot of young people. I come from Big Four, so for us it was self-evident, right? But it was drilled into us from a really young age as to why this was important, and it all comes back to trust. So it's not, you need to comply. So and just drill down, make sure that they understand why they're doing it, and make sure it gets done. Simple as that.
Thank you.
When it comes to compliance, most common question that I ask my other co-founder who's doing product development is, can we do this? Is it legal to do it or not? and that's the main question. We cannot hire a person, and most startups shouldn't with AI hire a person who should deal with compliance when they can basically purchase the third-party solution for that. Same goes with KYC that I already mentioned, and with AML. So basically, to my previous point and to what Danka and Hans mentioned already, it helps to speed up the process, to figure out ins and outs, to figure out if something can be done or not, and in a way is it possible to be done? So there are many solutions, AI solutions, and we are yet to see more and more solutions like we previously mentioned, the Stripes LLM. So there's going to be a whole lot of options where we will see people like many solopreneurs who are probably we are probably going to see one-man unicorns and something like that.
Yeah, they mentioned there is it's going to be the era of one man, first self-made billion-dollar man with the help of AI.
Yeah.
That should be really interesting. But having said so, when it comes to compliance as well, right? So imagine applying AI to compliance. It catches you out, right? So it's pretty simple to monitor who does what and where, et cetera, on machines or whatever. I think if you're looking top down or bottom up, you can also see that AI can have a very big role in enforcement and in detection and all of those various things, and the anomalies, whether people really do understand, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that playing a role as well in the future.
Anything more to add on challenges and opportunities, especially related to transparency, security, data governance?
You want to give this a go, Matija?
What was the question?
Yeah. No, I basically want to encourage the discussion among you guys on the challenges and opportunities that are related with AI on explainability, transparency, security, and data governance.
Well, I think everything, from my perspective, I think most of it is already covered, but just to reiterate, AI can help us much faster to detect any type of fraudulent activities and any type of non-compliant activities, and it can even help us not to do something that we maybe plan or do without checking first, which in startup world happens way more than it should. So that's the main place when it comes to all of that. And then of course like when you mention like the data governance, yeah, it's kind of difficult to follow GDPR for any small startup, but with AI it's way easier and helps with the data management in EU at least. America is a bit easier when it comes to that.
Well, they have less protection, so that solves that problem. On our side, what we're seeing is, again, we serve large multinationals, so one of our problems is when we're negotiating master services arrangements is the questions we get. And we get the questions that a Big Four would get as well. When it comes to, whether it comes to cybersecurity, whether it comes to processes and procedures around data, how we handle AWS, what kind of software we're using, whether that's SOC 2 compliant, all of those various things. And then we have a whole list of reps and warranties with respect to insurances which have extortionate coverages. I mean, I just recently negotiated an MSA, and the big issue was insurance. Our company is based in Switzerland. I went to every single big Swiss insurance company, and with all the reps and warranties and everything that we had, we couldn't get the coverage levels except for one insurance company, and it took us the better part of 6 months to negotiate. So, and the reps and warranties are huge, right? So if we do make a mistake, we're on the hook. So we also have to adhere to all of the various reps and warranties that I agreed in the insurance agreement, and all the ancillary documentation and the MSA. So exciting stuff.
Okay, just to add, it's a very good question. Basically, it's good that you mentioned this, because here in the public we have our colleagues from data governance team as well, and chief data officer from NLB Bank. So it's very important for us, as you already know, because we are in this financial industry, and this is also basically this is the base of everything, because we are talking here a lot about AI. AI doesn't exist without data, and data need to be governed. And we first need to put some policies in place and some rules and some checks and some data governance platforms, as we are going to do, in order to get quality data. So it's very, very important. And we are working a lot on these topics now in order to do it properly. Otherwise, if you do it in the wrong way, you must redo it. And it will cost you much more than if you do it properly.
And time.
Yeah.
I'll leave also another 5 minutes for questions, but before we get into the questions for the audience, last thoughts, specifically again, payments, tax, and banking. Your personal opinions or thoughts, what is the biggest value that AI brings to each one of your sectors? We mentioned a lot, but...
Yeah, we mentioned a lot. However, there is something that is... there are a lot of initiatives that are just coming to our, let's say, to our department, and they are related to document processing. We didn't mention that, and this is very important. I think the previous presentation was also about this topic. There are a lot of documentation in our industry, and there are a lot of documentation that must be read and rewritten or summarized, or a lot of people are working on that. So we get a lot of requests related to the topic of data extraction, data summarization, preparing different reports about the customers, and also making decisions based on all these insights. So this is a booming area, and I think that AI will help a lot to, let's say, reduce this manual work and some operational costs that are involved in that work, so processes will be much leaner. So this is, for me, a very important thing. We didn't speak about it because it's not customer-facing, but at the end, it will influence also the customers because the processes will be faster.
Right.
Yeah, faster and cheaper, and lower risk, because that's one of the things that we like with what we do. A lot of the tax work that we see is done by hand. We see really strange errors, and they can be really big, so off the charts big. And obviously, you know, if you're using digital, it's going to be a systemic error, if there is an error. And also escalation, issue resolution, all of those various things gets a lot easier. Transparency levels go up, but also there's an additional issue, and that is the authorities have a high expectation with respect to the quality of data and the delivery in the prescribed schemas. Then there's also, we're in the area of international tax, there's information sharing, so actually it gets shared. So if a Swiss company transacts with an Italian company or a Serbian company or whatever, the tax authorities will have the documentation from two sides of the equation. It gets very interesting very quickly. So that means that it means that you really need to make sure that you get your house in order now, and a whole load of the manual stuff that you were doing won't cut it anymore. And you know, over-reliance on an SAP or a Salesforce or an Oracle, whatever, is not necessarily feasible, because there's limitations with respect to the systems. For instance, for Italy, we program systems that run next to the SAP system, because they've got a double reporting requirement in Italy on a daily and on a monthly basis, but you can't run a trial balance within SAP. So when you hit the button, you've submitted it, and then you need to start restating it if you get it wrong. So basically, we extract everything from SAP, we build the entire ledger on the side, on a daily basis, on an aggregated basis, then we have the trial balance, then we check it whether it's okay in SAP, make the changes in SAP, and then we submit. But that's what the authorities expect. They expect nothing less than perfection on that front, and sometimes, you know, it's going to be very difficult for all the various industries to be able to deliver on that. And digital AI will be able to assist in that plight.
I think when it comes to like AI, startups are probably the biggest winners there, because they got something that is leveling the play field. So it will bring us more and more solutions, micro solutions, and it helps in numerous ways that we already covered when it comes to not just financial data and KYC and AML, but also there's an open banking initiative and program, and which is basically going to give access users banking data access to third parties. So. And I'm a true believer that with AI and with these initiatives, in conjunction with these initiatives, it will help European startup ecosystem to start finally flourishing and to keep up with the Silicon Valley, and I hope win eventually.
Thank you, Matija. We have a few more minutes. Do you guys have any questions?
I have many questions.
Let me give you a mic.
Nobody else has questions? Go on. Just in case.
I have a question for Hans, basically, because as far as I understood, you help a lot of multinational companies that have a lot of customers, a lot of countries they serve, etc. So can you give us an example of one exact case, maybe when you used a lot of international tax law that were using transfer prices and different things, and how AI actually helped you to maybe give some advice to the customer?
Most certainly. One of the areas, so I come from transfer pricing, so anyway, so far so bad. And obviously the issue with US multinationals is US GAAP. So what we build is US GAAP to local GAAP conversions, which allows you to much better manage your margins. So transfer pricing, for all the rest in the room, it's fairy tales for adults. It's companies within the same group that are acting with each other as if they were third parties. So anyway, fairy tales for adults, but that means that you need to right-size your margins and your markups with respect to the other group companies. So in that way, so doing a weekly or a monthly refresh on the US to local GAAP instead of the usual quarterly scramble or the annual scramble for the local submissions. And we're going to go into the global minimum tax and also the European CBCR rules, which are every quarter. So that's what we're doing at the moment, is just building engines that basically go from US GAAP to local GAAP to assist the TP people to correctly report out, to make changes to margins and all of those various things. And that's very powerful.
So I suppose you were feeding a lot of international law to the model, actually, in order to be enabled to discern what exactly should be done.
OECD model rules, yes.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, so first of all, I have a couple of questions. Some of them are more specific. The other ones are more, I would say, high level and philosophical with the AI. So first, no, it's for you, Hans. Come on.
For philosophical.
No, I'm joking. Whoever wants to answer. So earlier today, I was in another lecture, and the lecturer, he showed very interesting statistics. He did a research of the future adoption of AI in the different industries. And in the financial industry, like what that means is he researched how many have adopted it, how many are planning to adopt it, how many are not going to be adopting it in the next 3 years or so. And the financial industry was in the back end. It was the ones that were not going to adopt it very fast compared to the other industries. So my question is, what do you think is going to happen to those companies that adopt it compared to those that don't adopt it? Are the companies that are adopting it going to, completely destroy? I don't know if that's the right word.
Okay. Basically, I'll be completely honest with you. I don't believe in that surveys, because every company is trying to adopt AI in some way, or or has already adopted AI, because AI existed here for more than 50 years. So even 20 years ago, we already had AI. Now we are talking about generative AI. And this is very big hype. But even if they say no, that doesn't mean that they do nothing about it, you know. Maybe they have some projects they don't want to publish, you know.
Or maybe they don't know they're using AI.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. As our colleagues said, are you using mobile phone? Then you are using AI for sure. So 100% of people are using AI.
But the question was, do you think is going to happen to those companies that don't adopt it so, I would say, what is the right word? Aggressively. So some companies are really adopting it so aggressively, I can see it, and some others are,
but
you know,
not every company needs AI, you know. Yeah. If you're, you know, in some industry when you're doing some stuff that don't need AI, then, so it really depends. The answer is depends. It depends. In the financial industry, we are already using AI. So it's just a matter of security, how fast we are going to adapt generative AI. And when we say that we adopted it, that means that it's completely secure for, let's say, customers. So you should believe in financial industry. They tested everything before they moved to production. Okay. Others are saying like this, what do you say, one company with one person is billionaire. Yeah. Okay, it might happen for some months.
I think it has already happened.
Okay,
it just
happens.
Doesn't want to disclose it.
It happens, okay, but it will not happen
because
so
imagine.
often. Yeah, it is that.
Matija, you wanted to add something?
You know who's gonna 100% implement AI? Crypto bros. Oh yes. Yeah, and they are financial industry big time. So you know we are moving definitely to digital currencies more and more with all kind of mobile payments and stuff like that. And you know the game is gonna change. There's always that saying since AI started, you know, since LLM started to be mainstream. There's that saying like AI is not gonna kill, let's say, designers. Designers who use AI are gonna kill designers who are not. So that's gonna happen with any fintech or any tech company who thinks that they are smarter than AI. So.
I think this is probably going to be the first part, and the second part is going to be next year, because we covered a lot about AI this year. You mentioned payments, ISO open banking. Now you're talking about crypto, so maybe next year it'll be more about crypto on the same subject, AI finance.
Yeah, and it's progressing inside, right? So this space is moving at the speed of light. For us, it's a weekly journey of discovery, and again, I mean, we're here with a large team. Why are we here? Because we want to learn. We want to see new stuff, and even some things we're like, just looking at things, and, that doesn't, and then it's like, actually, let's try it on this, that, and the other. And if we have a good use case for it from the operational perspective, so you know, if we get the right convergence, absolutely we'll use it, and we'll lower costs, we'll reduce risk. And that's a good thing. Improve profits, improve compliance. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for the answers. Does anyone have questions?
You do.
Just in case. I don't want to.
You do.
I do, but I don't want to, you know, take all the time. So I have another question. I don't know if I can ask this question. So you can tell me if I can.
Yeah, you can. Just ask. Just ask.
Let me tell you what the question is. So, I have an economic background, and I'm really interested to know what your opinion is about how it's going to, you know, we didn't have a financial crisis for a very long time. So I think there is a big risk in the next few years to have a financial crisis. And I think there should be a financial crisis, because the more we delay it, the more risk. You're agreeing with me. So my question is, what do you think about the economic future of Europe, if there's going to be financial crisis? And it's a really important question for me because I'm planning on, doing some. Anyways, I'm not going to go into
Moving out.
Sorry. Did you understand the question or something?
Yeah, basically, this is not. I'm not, let's say, competent to answer this question. I will just say that I agree with you. I think this is coming, and also we didn't mention that, but fear of AI is also very present. People have fear of AI because they think they will replace them, and actually, yeah, they will replace some tasks of the people. But about the crisis, I'm not economist, and if somebody
I'm not an economist, but I can tell you how taxation works. So that means there'll be less profits to tax for companies, so they'll need to grab it somewhere. So we're looking at a more aggressive taxation landscape when it comes to audit, when it comes to controversy, tax legislation, taxing of assets, and all of those various things. So that's going to be really interesting. We're flying. So, but in all honesty, we're already seeing that companies are already bracing for winter is coming, right? So we're already seeing it. So we need to come up with really compelling arguments to loosen the purse strings and to go and do stuff.
And I'll get back to remote work. So if EU doesn't follow the trends and doesn't prepare for what's coming, the best talent can choose some other places to operate from, especially people who are one-man shows and small teams, agile teams, tech teams. So yeah.
Thank you very much. I have one last question.
No, there is actually somebody who has a question.
She's inspired. Now, brace yourself, Danka, this is yours.
I understood. Maybe it's more for you, because you work for big taxes, as I understood. So what do you think, how far we are from the AI answering on tax questions based on RAG, acting as like a tax advisor?
As a tax advisor, so again, I come from a tax advice background, and it depends on the complexity of the question. And some things are really, really easy, especially in a domestic setting. Cross-border things start to get slightly more antsy, and when it comes to classes of investments and all of those various things, it becomes very complicated. And also in a corporate sphere, and the gentleman with respect to transfer pricing just left, transfer pricing is an area where you can have a lot of discussion. And transfer pricing basically means that you have different countries competing for the taxation on particular activities. And whether that gets taxed in Serbia or it gets taxed in Switzerland. And those things are very difficult to answer, so that'll be a lot of facts and circumstances. But for a lot of the simple stuff, yeah, absolutely. I mean...
Yeah, but how you're going to handle complex questions? If it comes a complex question and then you need AI to recognize that this question is complex, actually.
Then it just needs to kick it out. I mean, we have, so when we do, so whether it's a traffic light system or amount of certitude with respect to a certain answer in our large language models, we can program that, and then it just kicks out to people. And again, we build tools for people, right? So we have people overseeing stuff that they understand and they know end to end. When it comes to AI, we want them freed up to do more creative things and come up with stuff that hasn't been thought out before. So that's what we are trying to achieve, and that's also how we get people to talk to us, to explain what it is we need to build for them. Because if they would feel too threatened, we notice this. And what we want is, we want them to do this and make time for us. That's really, really important, because at the end of the day, a lot of the getting the AI to work means listening and transposing and showing people, is this what you meant? So I'm building all the various models around it with respect to escalations and dashboards and you name it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
The guy with the sunglasses.
I might have a question for Danka, but I was wondering, because everyone is throwing around cutting edge AI this, AI that, but would you say it's very important for cutting edge AI models rather than simple models? Like, what's the balance between model complexity and just plain results for you?
Yeah, this is a very good question. Basically, I can speak from experience. We don't need these high-edge models for all the tasks. It really depends on the task at hand. We did some projects with simple, I would say simple, but very now already old 3.5 models, and they were completely fine. When we tried the same thing with a little bit newer models, the response was slower, and it was not good enough for, let's say, good customer experience. So we shouldn't go always to the cutting edge technology. Is this what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, it depends on the task, and also it depends on language. Because as you know, all these models are, let's say, multimodal, multilingual, but over English. So they are translating to English and retranslating to your language. So if you are in low resource language, if your language is low resource language, as for example our language and older languages in our region, then sometimes better results we get with models that are trained only for our languages. So it really depends. This is a very good question. Why? Because these systems require a lot of experimentation and a lot of testing, which is not the case with previous systems like regular IT systems. Yes, they require a lot of testing, but you are somehow in control what you are testing, because when programmers program some code, they know what they did. But LLMs, they are big, they are black box, and you sometimes don't know what you're getting. Sometimes you are really surprised. And there are also some, we didn't mention that, the guardrails that you must put in all these systems. And the testing is very, very important. Red teaming testing. So if you're talking about LLM, so there are a lot of work. And yes, I'm always coming back to this billionaire. Maybe. But nowadays, I think because market is becoming more mature, people are aware of all the risks, and they ask for more. They want to have bulletproof systems. And these systems are not cheap, because you must do a lot of testing and a lot of work.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Go.
This is my...
Go.
It's going to be a very short question. I'm sure it's been asked a lot, but I just want to hear your answers, your personal answers. So the question is, what are the biggest risks for the economy and society for the advancements of AI? From the advancements of AI.
Oh my God. Okay. My personal, sorry. This will be, this will be my personal opinion. I will not talk about technology. We speak about technology a lot. The biggest risk is human, and I'm talking here about evil humans. So it really depends. Every technology is just technology. In hands of good people, it's good technology, or technology that, you make some mistakes, but not on purpose. But in hands of bad people, technology can make, let's say, harm. Is it what you're...
Yeah. This is exactly my question.
Yeah. So we always come back to people. Technology is here to help and support, but people are the key. So we must pray that we are in hands of good people when it comes to technology, because technology is nowadays in control of very small group of people.
Can I, before you switch, for example, why I'm asking this question? Because, the risks of social media is not because in the bad hands, the social media can do something bad, but social media, for example, as good as it is, it destroys the fabric, certain social fabrics. And that is my, you know, I'm a little bit steering the question. Did you understand what I meant? That
Not exactly.
okay. I didn't explain it correctly. I will let the others answer.
Okay.
For me, the most important thing is fight ignorance. So for us, I mean, what I like about people is their curiosity, the willingness to learn, and you know, when they go into cattle mode and refuse to educate themselves on things, that makes life very difficult, and that's something that, you know, how do we keep people eager to learn? How do we keep them curious? And how do we make sure that, you know, we get good people on the world, and those heavily outnumber the bad ones? I think that's going to be the big challenge.
One word, scammers. You know, scammers are usually smart people with bad intentions, and with AI they're becoming super scammers. On the other side, the gap is becoming increased, like big time. It's you know, when I talk with my aunt, who's like tech ignorant, you know, like she gets scammed every few weeks with some like SMS messages, like where she clicks some stupid link, and she pays something, you know, or her phone bill gets increased because of that. And you know, like there are more and more people, you know, like we have a name for them, but I'm not gonna mention it. There are more and more people who are lagging way behind on one side, and then on the other side, you mentioned social media. Social media is like a drug. You know, for many people, it's like a drug. It induces effects in people, including me, that would probably some hard drug do. You know, and I mean there are studies about that. So you know, with AI, we are getting to a point where smaller number of people are going to be able to scam larger numbers of people who have no idea they're getting scammed.
Thank you a lot for the answers. It was a great discussion. And I have no more questions.
Remember them for next year. Thank you, Danka. Thank you, Hans and Matija. Again, like I said, this is first part, second part. Come next year and remember your questions.
I will hold them on my thumb.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.